Gotta elevate through the challenges. Might bend, but baby, you won't break. It's okay to make all your mistakes.
Welcome to another episode of Dare to Evolve, a sanctuary for genuine conversation and heartfelt dialogue. I am your host, Valérie Damazo, and my guest here with me this evening is none other than Oswald.
Oswald. Clavus. Gotta say the last name too.
Clavus.
Yeah.
Ah, c'est Clervus, non? Ça se dit pas?
Trying to make it sound a little English.
Ah, Clavus.
Clavus. Clavus.
All right. So who's Oswald Clavus?
Oswald. I mean, let's say Oswald is this guy that was born in St. Martin. At the age of 12, he realized that he wants to do music for the rest of his life. I always had problems with my teachers, of course. And then today, that's exactly what I managed to achieve because that's something I always wanted. So, yeah, a singer.
So you said that growing up, you always had problem with your teachers. So would you say that you have been,
A rude kid.
if you put it like that, then
Yeah,
a rude
yeah. I
kid?
was a rude kid. I wasn't easy at all. And especially after I lost my mom and dad, it was even worse. It was out of control.
You know, in much interviews, I always hear you talk about being that rude kid, but I never saw that side of you. And even as I see you evolve and you continue to push forward in life,
Yeah.
I will still see this humbleness.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned that after the passing of your mom and dad, how has that have, of course, affected your life and made you turn around?
I mean, at the end of the day, let's say I wasn't naturally a rude. When I say naturally, which means it wasn't something from the inside. Because even though I was doing rude stuffs, something inside of me always used to be like, man, that's wrong. But I was just this type of child that was very influenced by other, kids or like what would go do the wrong stuff, and I would just follow up and do the same thing just to feel accepted in that little group. And to me, like I feel, especially if it's something you're accustomed of seeing, it's something you grew up with, you just want to feel like, okay, I'm cool, I'm just like them. And I was at the wrong place. So this is the reason why most of the time I just be saying that, of course, it's something that is tragic, that, okay, you lost your mom and dad, but if maybe they was there too, I wouldn't have been the person that I am today, because life kind of forced me to come out of the little surrounding that I was in, and then was adopted by a Christian family that totally changed everything, my way of seeing things. And that's where I felt like, okay, you know what? This matches the person that I am on the inside.
So you jumped right into it because I was about to ask, at 12-year-old, losing his parents. Of course, you're still in school. I think at 12, you probably
Yeah.
going into
College, exactly when I was
No?
going into college.
College?
Yeah.
At that age already?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. And you're actually here and you're struggling already with school, with finding yourself, with just figuring life out. How hard has that been for you?
It was hard, but at the same time, from a very young age, it kind of forced you to be mature very early, because you don't have the choice. You can't say that, okay, I know my mother is going to always be there as a backup. My father is going to be there as a backup if I fail or if anything go wrong. When you are on that age, you know for a fact that you just feel it. That, okay, you know what? The choice is really in my hand, because if I decide I want to go the wrong way, no one is going to be there to really save me. And no one is going to go out of the way,
Yeah, I lost my grandmother a couple years back. That has been my foundation, and I'm grateful to still have my parents around. But the vital role that my grandmother played in my life, when she passed on, when she passed away, I can tell you it has been. I was not 12. I was actually already in my 30s, and I felt as if life had no more meaning. And I'll explain why. She's the one that kept me grounded. She's the one that will be able to tell you when you do good and when you do bad, and
Yeah,
she don't
exactly.
sugarcoat it for nothing. These grandparents. And I always had this fear of death, and crossing that time when she passed on, it has been very hard. But as I continue to move forward with her memories and so forth, it just kept me grounded and reminded me all that she has instilled in me. So I can only imagine you at a tender age of 12, how that could have been.
Exactly, because the big difference is at that age, it's a drastic change. So every single day is going to remind you that your mom is not there anymore because everything, your whole life changed. It's not the same system anymore compared to if you've done already at a certain age where you have your life, you're stable in life, you're working, everything continues the same, but just without that person.
that person.
But when you're in a position where everything changed completely, it's like every single day you live in like something different that you're accustomed of living with your mother or that family member. It's gonna remind you of this. If your mother was somebody that used to go all out for your birthday and then your birthday reach and it's not the same thing, it's gonna remind you that she's not here anymore.
Yeah.
So
And then you mentioned that after a given time, then you were adopted. Already in the society in a time is like, but then they're not your parents with you. Then you adopted. You got your own parents. How hard could that have been for you as well?
I mean, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. It was really hard, but at the same time, I always gonna say that I was lucky enough to fall in loving people. They were loving people, they were God fearing people, and they brought me into church, and everything, like every connaissance that I have today when it comes to music, everything was done in the church. So I feel like this was the most perfect and best foundation. And de toute façon, I always just tell myself, il n'y a pas d'hasard dans la vie. There's no, you know what I mean? Coincidence. Like everything had to happen the way it happened for me to be the person that I am today. So I can't spit on all these experiences, the good times, the bad times. Those are the things, those are the lessons that make me who I am today, that makes me think like how I would think today.
Would you say that through those experiences, that what made you pick up a pen and a paper to start to write? Because I know that you love writing your music as well and composing. And would you say at that given time, or those are key elements that made you turn to that side of your life?
Yeah, because my life itself is a movie. You see what I mean? So I always had stories to tell, to share. And out of my life, I mean, there's so many examples that can be picked on so many different levels because I'm somebody, I was always in a position where I wasn't afraid to lose what I didn't have, so I always used to be like taking chances, testing new stuffs. I wasn't afraid to leave if I wasn't comfortable. I just wasn't settling for the less, even when I got my job, when I got my CDE, my permanent contract and stuff, and people was like, wait, you gonna leave? There's so much people asking and looking for job, and you planning on leaving a job for you to go look for something you don't even know how it's going to be or whatsoever. But I told them my response to that was, at least I know what our job is about. Even though I would maybe struggle to get back another job, but I know what a job is about. And the last thing I would want is to spend 20 years in that job and tell myself, man, I should have taken that chance when I could have.
But did you feel, because as mentioned, through everything, okay, you found music. And through music, of course, starting off as a youngster in life, you get an opportunity to work. So, of course, you work. Yeah. But at a given time, did you feel like you were suffocating? Like, I needed to do something more, and sticking to a 9 to 5 was hampering the musician that I want to be, or the other side of life that you wanted to explore?
Yeah, because, if you really look at it, like most successful people always had it bad when they were young, or they had a rough childhood or whatsoever. Like I always just say, life is a balance, like sometimes you go through some heavy struggle, and to compensate that, or to even it's like you got a big cut, you need a big pansement to cover it up. You see what I mean? So if things were just going simple, maybe you might feel like, okay, there's chances you wouldn't want to take to cover up that trauma that you have in you. Me, I needed big experience. I needed something big to cover up that trauma, and I believe that's how it works.
Because you said something, you love taking risk. Mm-hmm. And something that I take away from what you said as well is that how can I lose something that I don't have? So you always live with, it's not a fear, but you know what? whatever I have can leave, can
Exactly.
disappear, and I can only link it back to, of course, the story of your life.
Yeah.
And with that, it's like, let me take my risk, because at the end of the day, like, nothing stays around forever.
Exactly.
Everything is in a time and a season.
Exactly. Especially when you're not afraid. You've been to zero. If you reach the 5 and you go back to 0, it's not shocking to you compared to if you start life at 5.
When you say you've been to 0, on this platform, Dare to Evolve, one of the reasons why I said, let me create this platform is really people will look at people like yourself, myself, and others in the community and be like, hey, I want to be like them because they have it easy. They have it easy because they see an end product. And this platform, I said, no, I needed them to understand that Valérie Damaso too, at times, right back down to 0 and has to start all over. Valérie, sometime at the end of the day, will have to go home and figure out, okay, how do we get ends meet? What do you mean when you say with hitting 0? And how do you advise others to, I love to say this, see the glass half full and not half empty? Keep that positive mindset.
I mean, when you really look at it, like, how to say, that's why sometimes when you'd be hearing like the successful people talk to, is like you would put $1 million in somebody's hand that ain't a customer that don't know exactly where to go about it. They might end up back exactly in the same position that they was in, because it's not really about what you have. Being in the position that you're in today is not the hard part. It's staying in this position. You see what I mean? It's staying in this position. And the only reason why you can stay in this position is because there was stages. There was struggle, for a fact that, okay, those are the mistakes that I should avoid doing, because you know what they are. You can't automatically, people obviously just always see the end result. They just see the end result and they just be like, oh, you have it easy. But they really need to understand that before that result, all the steps, we haven't jumped the steps in. And that's the reason why we might go further, because we will take the chance. We will take the chance because it's a two-way street. It's like, if you don't take that chance, you stand in your current position. You're not going anywhere further. And then you take the chance and it work out. Yes, thank God it worked out. That wasn't luck. That was taking a chance. you know?
Yeah, that can go both ways. And is it a time of your life, something that you can share? So people, I believe in success stories. Success stories does not mean that it's always positive. It means that you tried and probably you failed, or you tried and you succeed. Is there a story that you can share so they can understand that, I relate a lot with you through your music. I remember a time when you were saying that you were traveling the world, and then, of course, you could not have maybe returned to the U.S., or you could not have done so many things. But people see you out there blooming. I know for a fact, exchanging with you, you decided to stop your 9 to 5, your permanent job to pursue music, writing and going out there producing and singing. But then yet finding maybe the right manager, the right team, or without someone shafting you or something was not easy as well. So what would be that story, a part of your life that you can share to make people understand this is what you see, okay? This is what it's been, and this is how I left from here to there, with the pain, the hurt, the starting over, or the failure inside of it.
Okay, for example, the first thing I want to start with, I've done those mistakes because, of course, you're going to have people around you that's going to tell you, yo, you know what? You can't let people use you. You can't let people, especially the ones that's starting off. It doesn't automatically have to be in a music scene, but whatever scene it is, you're going to lose in the beginning. You have to lose in the beginning. People have to use you in the beginning, but they have to use you to a point where you so needed that they don't have the choice. Because in every aspect, whatever domain it is, it's always a question of the demand of it. Like, they want you. And you so can be in so many different places that your price automatically goes up without you even have to try to prove it or ask for it. For example, let's take an example on certain artists. When they starting off in St. Martin, they would ask me for advice that, yeah, you know what? Some people been asking me to do shows. I don't want to do the shows then because I feel like they're using me and they ain't paying me and they paying international artists. We can't think like that. You have to do, you know how many free shows I did
Have to start
back
somewhere.
then?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, not only doing free shows, sometimes when you're buying your clothes, you buying this, you buying that, you spending your own money for that show. Yes, automatically, but there's somebody there that saw you. And I was like, okay, this person have talent. And then from then, you manage to have a crowd of your own. And then when you know for a fact that you reach on that stage where you doing something that everybody sees that nobody else can do, that's when people automatically put a price on it. I mean, in the beginning, it started from me. When I left the hotel, I've been to restaurants. I remember I did my CDs. I've been on the road selling CDs. I gave you one. When that my life CD there that you say you still have. You know, I've been to that stage of me selling CDs. I've been to that stage of me going to shows and asking the people them if I can even perform for free. I've been to that stage where Johnson and I had picked a flight. We went to the States. I went to school and perform and sing in school. We went to club and asked the clubs them if I can perform. There's times we sleep in cars. There's so many things that went on before that finally happened. Before that little moment where people was like, wow. But you know, the one thing, like if I even have an advice that I would give to anyone, you once you consistent, you see consistency, there's no way you cannot have result. And TikTok prove it to you today. When you watch on TikTok, they have this fella that's be following on his page. His concept is sleeping. He literally sleep like this, and people would go on his page, comment, send him money for sleeping. That's to show you that in this world, there's something for everybody. Whatever you do, but as long you're consistent. The most following fella on TikTok there today, what he does is the fellow what does do the stupid sign that we used to see for COVID. He'd just watch thing and open his hand and doing all kind of thing. This man is a millionaire today, doing things for Boss, doing things for different brands and stuff.
But it's a good thing that you brought that up because, okay, consistency, and I love that because, you know, sometimes people believe success is a one-shot something, you know, and I truly believe in turning your passion into, you know, your success story as well, because then when you get up, you don't feel like you're going to a job. You're actually sleeping and you're writing because something is next to you because there's a boiling feeling inside of you that you want to explore because then that's your passion that you continue developing. But you talk about social media because social media can also make you and break you. Yeah. And today, what do you know what's real and what's not real? I'm still trying to figure out when you tell me you have organic and you have people buying followers, what that's supposed to mean and how much have that impacted your life and how important is that for you as an artist that is trying to remain, well, Oswald, we know when he come back home in St. Martin, that is humble, open, and will just walk the street and has to give this kind of profile that makes him someone else on social media. I mean,
to be honest with you, social media, of course, today we living in a time money can do anything. Money can buy anything. You can sell a visual on social media. But thank God that in the domain that we're in, it don't only depend on social media or from a distance. Because sometimes it has happened a lot. Like, let's say an artist, he's big on social media, making millions. But then when he do a show in a cell where can only hold 500 people, you can't even fill that. No. Then, of course, automatically people will ask question. Because there is stages, you know what I mean? And thank God I was in the scene walking when social media wasn't even there yet. So I have a fan base enough that loves my music. And sometimes some of my fan base is not even people who would be really like that on social media. You see what I mean? Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's where the real business boils down to. No matter how you twist and turn it, you can make yourself look as good as you want on social media. But the real challenge is when you're doing a show, can you bring out people? You see what I mean?
You know, you also mentioned that with your job leaving and deciding to pursue music, I mean, being in St. Martin and decided, you know what, time for me to leave. And you left St. Martin, but you know what you have. You know, I always tell people, try to do not let the fear of the unknown stop you from accessing your next chapter.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's like I'm leaving St. Martin and I'm going in the States, I'm going Paris, I'm just going to pursue my dream. How hard had that transition been, like leaving from, of course, St. Martin, getting over there, and also finding the right balance, because you speak about balance a lot.
I mean, it definitely wasn't easy. I mean, I would lie if I say it was easy, but when you in the scene, you know for a fact that there's no reverse. I mean, you just gotta keep going, because you put yourself in a position where you just cannot stop halfway. That's like you trying to cross a river and you just decide to jump in the middle. You're not gonna stay in the middle, be like, nah, man, this too hard. No matter how hard it is, you just gotta swim until you reach on the other side. You don't have a choice. And the thing is, today, for example, I mean, I would decide to come back home. It wouldn't change anything in my career because I already established my name and did what I had to do out there, to the point that I could go live anywhere around the world. The people, them, if they would want me to come and perform because of that thing that Oswald has that belongs to him, they would pay the price for that.
That
And
consistency.
to me, that is something that is amazing. And all of that was because of the consistency. People, remember, an artist, people want to relate to you. This is why some people that automatically feel like this is something you're going to do because of money. From the get-go, you lost already.
Yeah.
Because what makes people want to pay to see you is because of the whole process. It's not even because of the music alone. Some people would send me messages and be like, oh, when I met my husband, it wasn't solo song. The first song we danced was solo. Or when this person passed away, this song helped me. Or when I was in a toxic relationship, toxic song. You know, it's a whole thing.
And how hard is it, though, as an artist, that you release a song and then it's like, oh, it's not picking off at all? You know, all of this is to show the consistency, but really so people could understand. Sometimes there's one or two hits where you believe it's a hit, but it's not flying off
It's
at all.
not. But that's something that has happened to me all the time. It's sometimes I feel like, okay, this song is the one that's gonna pick up, and when you release it, that's not the one they like. Like, for example, on the Oxygen album, Petit Control was literally the song I tell myself, I don't know. I didn't even know where I was going with that song. But why people love it and enjoy that song is because it's different.
Yeah.
And it's to show you how the reason why it's never about the business or the money of it is because you constantly have to reinvent yourself for you to be able to last.
Yes.
They already know Oswald as the one that does the sur un carreau, the solo. They know it. They know, okay, he masters
What I
that.
find on that. But it's actually good as well when you can be identified with something. So you know that Oswald stands for this.
Yeah.
Oswald is more about this gender. But I also know that knowing you back then, Oswald can also give you a good R&B, a good soul, straight up to what you're doing today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even that, in terms of struggling and finding yourself, you have known from the jump this is the type of music you want to be doing, or you just want to continue?
At all. I never knew, but I always used to love mixing different genres.
Okay.
You see, like, for example, my song, if you would put it next to a real compa song, that's when you'll catch, this song is not really compa. You know what I mean? My song it's a different song. And I'm not saying this like just because I'm trying to send flowers on me or anything, but I create a song out there that sometimes people would use it. And then once they use it, for example, the song Mayday from Vibe album, that's a song that I wrote for Vibe, that I composed for Vibe. And that's their biggest hit on their album, on Vibe album. Yeah. And once a lot of people was like, when I hear that song, I swear that was Oswald's song. And the fellas sometimes they tell me, a lot of people sometimes would be singing the song and they tagging me instead of tagging the fellow himself. And I would be the one saying, no, that's not my song. That's Vibe's song.
But how did you get there? I mean, you leave from here, you're trying to find yourself, you find your music, you're trying to find the right gender, you're creating your own sound, and then here you are writing for others and here on this track? How did that happen?
That happened because in the whole process scene, when I just had reached in France, for example, as a composer, I was composing for other artists first. I composed for Princess Lover, I composed for Jim Rama, I composed for Nestle, I composed for different people in the Zouk scene. And then by composing for them, I mean, you're in a studio with them. You're in a studio with all of this is content. So people visually, they don't get accustomed of, okay, that's Oswald, that's his sound. He did that song for Princess Lover. But because it's Princess Lover, they pick it up. They enjoy the sound.
Yeah.
And then from them enjoying that sound, when I came with mine, they felt familiar with it. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Because the radios automatically was playing it because it's Princess Lover. They wasn't saying what they would say for me and say that, okay, you know what, we don't know what style it is, so we don't know where to play.
But isn't it like, okay, getting an opportunity to write for all of them, it just took one person to believe in you, one person to see that talent.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at because, like I said, leave from here, you go over there and you're trying to figure things out yourself. And here you are now composing for others. But someone had to say, this young man have talent. Someone had to say, okay, let me try. Or maybe this young man actually imposed himself so much in the front of the studios or in the front of, like you say, going different places to be heard or given that chance. How important is that?
I mean, that's honestly, I just gotta say that's my gift, you know. You know what I mean? That's something you just, you know, sometimes people would ask me, but how do you this? Because I know I'm a perfectionist, you know. I'm really hard on myself when it comes to the music scene, which means even if I'm doing something for somebody, I don't be like, you know what, that's somebody thing, so let me just do it halfway because I enjoy what I'm doing. And it all comes down to that part, enjoying what you're doing.
And then, of course, we know as well the musician. I knew that starting in St. Martin with the Conciliation Stars, the Star Search, the whole 9 years and so forth. Now we see you on the bigger scene. Very proud of you. We also know that it's not that easy now being I'll say a family man, having your child and so forth. How do you balance? Because a lot of people ask about, okay, how women does it, having to balance their life and balance family at home. But even as a man, and especially I see that you're very much implicated father and so forth. How hard is it always on a tour, always traveling, always away? What's that balance as well in life that is needed?
At the end of the day, you know, I'm not going to say that it's easy. You know, it's an easy thing, but it's most likely when you really into something, and especially that's how I put food on the table. You got to be with somebody that understand, you know, that scene, that movement. So it's never really been a problem to me, because at the end of the day, that's music is not only, and you know, this is the reason why the last time I had a talk with Dex on that. And he was like, music is your therapy. And, you know, from then, I've always been putting this word up front. Why? Because it's a reality of it.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows me knows for a fact that Oswald is all about music. When they see me, they see music. No. If you come in around me, you know for a fact that if there's something that has to change, it's gonna be anything else but the music.
But that's why I said, example, I know you have your daughter. I'll take example. I'm constantly with a job, with other stuff that I'm doing on the road as well. And having my daughter today that is 12 years old, I mean, what we do when I travel, she actually traveled with me indirectly. She will know that, hey, I'm going to Miami. She will do her research and let me know exactly what's there to see in Miami, what's the population looking like. And that is something fun, because then you create that. As much as I don't like technology at all, this AI whole wild world and so forth that we're heading into, I'm grateful to have that opportunity to, you have that video call. I will make it my business that I know my daughter have homework. We'll try our best to do it, you know, and I must admit that if I did not have a solid foundation, a great family, a great support group, I would not be able to do it.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, your system is building something. Yeah. You see what I mean? Because sometimes it might be disadvantageous, but there's a lot of advantages out of this. No. Because at the end of the day, all the work that you're doing today is to make theirs easier tomorrow. So that's something they definitely understand.
You know, I always have to give a joke. Sitting down with you and being serious has always been difficult.
She had to put that one out.
we have a tick. We have something common. We will constantly repeat at the end of the day in every sentence.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
I just
I'm
catch
gonna ask
myself
the
for
crew
real.
to count how many times Oswald said at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that?
That's
All right.
crazy.
And combined together it's gonna be crazy.
Jesus Christ. No, I ain't going to say it again. But at the end of the day, yeah.
Oswald, I mean, overall, is there a desire, a passion, or something where Oswald is at today? What is your next step? What are you seeking? This platform that you have, of course, because I mean, looking at you the other day perform and see young children. First of all, I wanted to know if they didn't see it was raining. The children need to get out of the rain. But they're singing word for word your songs. And when I look at you as an artist, I see that you're like a cross-generation kind of artist that is not that easy to find these days. What is the next step for Oswald?
The next step. That's something. She asked me a question that she self can answer for me. What is my next step, Valerie?
No, how can I answer that?
No. But I'm asking you the question. From what I came to you with for my project, I'm returning the question. What do you think is my next step?
Well, Oswald have so
If you
so
understand
many
me.
next step. I understand correctly. Of course, continue to use your life as a true transition, especially for the younger generation to come. So I don't know if we'll say the sneak peek that will be coming soon, but I also know you always wanted to have your own music place here in St. Martin, a center that you'd be able to give back and
Definitely.
contribute and so forth.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Oswald will be a movie star, but I didn't know that this
No,
is the time
I'm not.
to
I wouldn't say a movie star, but to me, that's the piece that's been missing in the puzzle, and the piece is exactly what we were saying in the beginning. A lot of people would see, okay, you know what, Oswald, yes, today or whatsoever. Some people think solo was probably my first song. That's when I just decided I wake up one day, but let me start singing, and boom, I was lucky enough to fall on to get a hit song that, that pops, that went viral and stuff like that, and then that's about it. No. I really want people to understand and connect to every single thing that I've been through before I reach where I reach. And that way it would help them to understand that, if tomorrow we had to switch life for you to go through everything that I went through, would you accept it? Would you want that? That's when they're going to be like, you know what? He deserves that. So automatically they will know that if you know this is something you really want, sometimes those are the sacrifices. Sometimes those are the things that somebody went through. So when you see them today, you can't say that it's chance. You see what I mean?
The next step for Oswald will definitely be continuing down the line of how we envision things. I mean, leaving, pursuing music, and now actually getting a chance to showcase and show the true journey of where it all started, where it's headed, where it's at now, and also understand that not everything that glitters is gold.
Exactly.
Yeah, a very good one here now.
Exactly.
But overall, like I said again, it is has been quite interested because when people see you, they see a finished product, and keeping motivated and keeping your head up high and leaving from. I don't want to come back on it again, where it all started for you at an early age, getting into a new family, moving forward again, like I'm just going to leave St. Martin, I'm going to go and pursue my music, getting opportunities and opportunities falling, and then new opportunities that come by. Would you say all of this had made you and mold you into the person that you are today? And is it a
definitely.
stronger person, a person that's full of doubt, a person that can be slow to anger? Who has this whole journey mold you into?
I mean, at the end of the day, you don't really change. It's just that you just change most likely how things go around you to ease because the good part don't go up without the stress. These two goes hands in hand, and usually it has been really hard, for example, for you to say that okay, I reached the stage there and gotta look out to make things a little easier. But yeah, man, even in my surrounding, it's not as easy. You know, it does have many different stages. Of course, there are times the fear is still there. There are times the anger and all of that, because you just want things to get done the way it's supposed to. It's not as easy and stuff like that. But with the experience and all, you know for a fact that, okay, you surround yourself with the right people, with the right team, just to make things go smoother and all. That's all that happens.
If you were to lose your voice today, and your ability to sing and give that energy, that vibes, that passion of yours, share it with others, what would be your next job?
What would be my next job? That would be very hard, because there's nothing I really enjoy much as my music. And the thing is, that's one of the things, like I was explaining you, because of the love I have for my music, sometimes I bypass the struggling path. I bypass the negative, the sleepless night, the stress that comes with it. I don't really see it. Like, for example, sometimes when I would look at your job,
Which one of them?
your job, no, what you're doing, I just ask myself, like, how?
Yeah.
How? Like, sometimes I would speak to Valerie. Valerie would tell you, okay, my day would start from 8, from 8 to 9. Okay, I'm doing this. From 9 to 9:30, we can talk and slide in a little thing. From 9:30 to I just be like, what? Let me tell you, sometimes I just travel. The day I traveling, that's when Johnson tell me, yo, don't forget we gotta be. I'll be like, yeah, this today we traveling. But at the end of the day, that's how my life was kind of designed. You see what I mean? So I know where I'm weak. I have people around me to help me for those parts. So there's a lot of things it comes with. But when I just see other people, are very, it's just not my thing. It's not my thing, so I wouldn't be able to. No, you would put me.
You're not organized.
Huh?
You're not organized.
It's not that I'm not organized, but I'm organized in my own way. Val, let me tell you something. You know what talent? A talented person is not a normal person. People need to understand that. You think who normal? Who the normal? But when you got talent, there's a little line between talent and crazy. You're far from being crazy.
To that extent.
You see what I mean? So when you somebody talent for his domain, of course, he gotta be very on point. What does inspire me? Emotion for me to get inspiration, for me to be able to write songs. So which means somebody that is artistic is deeper on the emotion side.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Sometimes it could happen that I know I got to finish a song today, but I'm not getting inspiration. No. So you are expecting that song tonight. I'm sorry for you.
You're not going to get it.
I'm sorry. I'm in a bad mood.
And when Oswald needs a break, he needs a break.
And it's a mind thing.
Okay.
Because I will be in the studio, I will turn around that song for hours and hours and still wouldn't be able to deliver nothing. No. Because I'm just not... in that element.
Aside, when you look at it and you talk about my workload, it is true. I find myself a lot have to do speeches, or even now with this platform there to evolve. I love motivating. So for me, most motivation, most quotes sound similar, turn in your own way, in your own sentences and so forth with your own wording. But it's something that if you're not at a particular part in life, you will not be able to do that. Oh, yeah. So I will try to write, and sometimes I'll be like, not today. And then you just freestyle. You just go ahead, because when you reach on spot the day, then the inspiration comes. So I can definitely relate.
Yeah.
What's important, though, is actually, that's how I see it, knowing your calling, accepting your calling, and work towards that.
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, the idea is not for you to try to do everything from top to bottom. And I believe a lot of people see you here, and they be like, okay, you have to be the one that is organizing this, doing that. But that's also come because, like you said, you're a perfectionist. So being a perfectionist, do you at the time, and I'm going to ask you that, are you able to delegate? Are you able to delegate and let the load come off of you?
Yes, I am. But sometimes it's hard because my vision, really, very detailed.
Yeah.
You know, like very, very, very detailed. So in a sense, for example, like I would be like, okay, you know what? I need to perform. I need this on stage or whatsoever.
No.
But the fact, to me, when I say I need it on stage, I already thinking that I need it on the left side because the left side make more sense. I already thinking that, okay, I want this to be like this, So sometimes you delegate and then I would come on stage, I find it on the right side. Now it's a problem. That alone mess up my show. So instead of me, delegating that specific thing, I rather run and do it because to make sure that it's done and to
I
even
think
go back.
after working with some people at a time as well, and having the same team and so forth, people get to know you. I have the same problem. I love to be in control, in charge, and all what you want and so forth. But I've learned over the years that it's important to delegate. It's not an easy thing, but understand that your vision is yours. And if everything is written in your head, it is only normal that everyone does not see it. And letting go is something that can be very difficult with being, you know what? This is what I wanted, but of course, I did not move it myself. So I might find it on the left and not on the right. And you know what? It's okay.
Yeah, it is.
It is okay.
But for someone that's really in thing, it becomes and le pire c'est que like others always say, and that's something je suis conscient de ça. I know it. Sometimes something can be 10% and my mind is 80%.
Yeah.
The problem is 80% in my mind. I make it bigger than what it's supposed to be. But I can't spit on that part because that's the reason why I can manage to always go hard on myself to keep doing hits and good music. So people can always be like, but how he does it? Well, that's because I don't take it for granted. I don't just go in the studio and be like, you know what? You just do a song and then put it. I just be like, sometimes they'll be like, Oswald, the song good, man. Why you want to put more on it? Like, nah, it's something I feeling. But when I fix it, they'll be like, yeah, you're all right, man. You're all right. No, I see what you were saying. You see what I mean? So.
But do you take a time and be like, you know what? Just sit in it. Meaning that today, this is where I'm at in life. I know where I came from. I know I'm at today. I'm not at the end result yet, But let me just tap myself on the shoulder and be like, you know what? I'm here. We did great. I did great. This is enough. I'm content with today.
You know where I just feel it? When I just come home. When I just be in sin. That's why I just feel good when I'm home. Because it's only when you see your people, like you see your friends, you see your families, and they talking to you. And, from the way they talking, sometimes you want to tell them, like, yo, it's the same me, you're talking like, a certain respect or whatsoever. And I'd be like, it's the same me. Right. Oh, they are. It's just like, for example, let's take it as meeting a woman. Let's say I would meet a woman tomorrow. She'd meet an artist.
Yeah.
In her mind, she meet the artist. If I was with somebody from before I became an artist, that person knows the real me and the artist. You see what I mean?
Yes,
it's a big difference. Yeah. So when I just be in France, you in the real world, you in a competition world that constantly reminding you, yo, you gotta get higher. Au contraire, sometimes people would be like, yeah, man, you gotta do more, you gotta go hard. Well, sometimes when I would come home, it's the only place where I would remind you, look where you come from.
Yeah.
Look where you was, look where you are today. Because you just going, you speeding, and you just pumping gas, and then you reaching 150. But you went gradually, like you reach 150. In your mind, you feel you in 50 still.
But it's important. It's important to find, because you said it, to find that balance. It's important for you as well to be content sometime with where you're at in life.
Yeah,
especially only you know your story, only you know your journey, and only you know your vision. And that is something we need to be content. And actually, people fall along like flies, so we need to take the time to appreciate the final thing.
If there's one
that's
thing,
my word.
Yeah,
grateful.
I'm very grateful on that point. You see what I mean? I'm not gonna say that. Matter of fact, I have a different vision when it comes to life. To me, I understand life in a different way than somebody that, that just had everything or were born in a way like, okay, you know what, that they formatted them for them to see. I had to figure out life on my own. Yeah. in a way. So by doing this, I do understand what is very important, what is more important, so I don't get off track. Because in this world, many times I find myself in position, and I can tell you there are artists, there are people that are way more successful, but for some reason they can't stand me. Why? Because they see that I'm happy and I'm grateful. I'm so happy with what I have. If you see my musician, how everybody's just we living. Everybody is happy.
Nobody's
And to
happy.
me, that's the most important part.
Okay.
You see the energy, you making a living off of what you love. Everything is positive. The energy is positive. Everybody is positive. That's what keeps me going. Because obviously, if I'm in a stressful environment where everything is always pressure, then I might lose it. Why? Because of what I've been through.
Yeah.
So at some point when in my career, I don't only think about the success, I also think on the trauma that I have to make sure that, if we do not think out, because I'm kind of damaged still, no matter how we twist and turn it, I'm still kind of damaged, but I'm aware of that. And I know how to deal with it, how to go about it. Because like I just always tell some people just really think that they'll find happiness by going for way more, go further and go, try. I'm not saying you can't grow in what you're doing, but you got to understand what you can take too. The success do not go up. It's just like, for example, that's your current position. I mean, you could have been the person running the whole island. You could have been the main president or whatsoever, but you know what it goes. You know what it comes with. Sometimes you could tell yourself, okay, I'm happy in this position.
Right there.
That's good enough for me.
No.
You see, because if you go higher, some people will be like, you got what it takes for you to be the president or whatsoever, dot side friends, all kind of thing. But do you want to deal with the pressure that it comes with is the real question. So some people, sometimes they want the success and forget all what it comes with. And then they go through depression and then they can't deal with it no more because it's too much they handling in things. I know what I can handle. You see what I mean? So I go according to what I know my mind can deal with, so I can be happy at all time and be in my space and be in my good energy.
So you said something, and we're gonna close with that. Grateful. I'm pretty grateful to have the opportunity to exchange here with you.
Are
To
you
see the other
sure?
side. Yeah, I'm sure. And see the other side of you and get people to understand. And like I said, grateful enough to share this platform, a platform that is really there to help each other grow,
Yeah.
so we could understand the true reality of life, how things goes, and it's not always, like I said, everything that glitters is gold. So I'm gonna ask you this final question as we wrap it up. At this time in your life, at this particular time, what are you daring to evolve?
My personal life, the giving back to the people, because I feel like, okay, I done my part of reaching in a position where there's a lot of things I wanted to achieve that I managed to. I mean, there's always more to achieve, but it's the giving. I reached that stage where it's the giving part. You see what I mean? Just like we was talking about having association here on the island where you can, help the people them that really want to go further in the music scene. It's not only the music scene, but that's something we're definitely gonna talk about with the camera team as well. People that wants to get into the filming, the people who wants to get into. I feel like this would be a good concept, not only to help the people them that has a vision and that feel like they don't know exactly where to. Because back then I feel they had a lot of these things. They had a lot of, atelier where people could go mercredi, après-midi, to do stuff like that. So I feel that's something that people kind of, it's like, okay, everybody got to figure it out. Just go on TikTok, go on social media and find out on their own. No, we need this connection where the people them can really be on the scene to see if there's something that they really love, they want to go further on. And for people to connect more to the Oswald, not just the artist, because, okay, we don't know the artist already. Well, who is Oswald? So this is the path I really want to evolve in.
So you're daring to evolve your personal life and also continue down that line of reaching out more to others and being able to assist them and have that dream
Yeah.
of yours that come true. But it's one thing that I will take away from this interview with Oswald is that consistency is a must. If you want something, you believe in it, you dream it, you eat it, you drink it, and you be as consistent as possible. There's no limit to where your success is.
And you speak it to existence. That's something, I mean, that's a deeper thing again, but it really works to really believe in something and to claim that energy around you. It's really important that, I don't know if it's by writing it on a paper, but you need to repeat it to yourself until it really program in your mind. It becomes your daily life for you to say that this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, and stuff like that.
So closing out this interview here today, I'm going to say that you dream it, you believe in it, you work towards it, you be as consistent as possible on it, and then,
Definitely.
of course, no limit to where it will take you. Thank you very much. We're out. This has been the end of another great episode of Dare to Evolve.
Yes, sir.